Hey guys, here is the tabletop portion for this Jaktkit Knv2 knife that I got. Gonna preface by saying that I was given this knife. They contacted me and pretty much said, hey, do you want to try out our knife? And I pretty much responded back, yep, sure. And they were like, yep, give us your address. That simple, that easy. I love it when companies do and offer that no strings attached, which is awesome because there's so many companies out there, guys, that do that want to dictate how you're going to do your reviews and all that. And these guys were just like, nope, take it. Didn't even kind of ask any questions or nothing, just unconditional offer, which is awesome. I love it when companies give us a chance to just freely say what we want to say, and that is awesome because there is a lot of companies out there that pressure people to do otherwise. So that out of the way, this is a pretty cool knife, and we're going to do this tabletop first, and then we're going to do a carving demonstration here that I've already filmed, and we'll get to that. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to say this is one of the best sheaths I've ever gotten with a knife. What you have is half Kydex, half nylon. It's got a Velcro belt loop, which will fit like full-size duty belts. The retention strap has got a buckle, so it's not Velcro, which is awesome. And the stitching, holy cow, guys, check this out. It's actually done correctly. The correct way to stitch something like this is the box with an X through it or a box with a zigzag through it. Too often nowadays you get these things and all they have is like a zigzag or an X through them, but they actually went through and everything seems to be stitched very well. The Kydex is attached with Chicago screws, so you can tighten or loosen them for better retention, which is pretty cool. The fit on it's very tight as it came, so I'm not going to loosen it up. I do like the way it is. The retention is all around the handle here that is formed in, so it gives you very good snap retention. You can hear. Very good retention. Like I said, one of the best sheaths I've gotten from a knife. I do like that. Alright, so let's talk about the knife itself. One of the big complaints I do have is Jaktkit here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a Swedish company, so I could be wrong on that. Their website's not in English, so you have to kind of rely on Google Translate to get all your information, and it doesn't always do the best job. One of the big things I would say for the company is to get yourself a English language website, because Sweden to English does not translate very well at all, so I did want to point that out. So it is kind of difficult. Even finding the price of this was difficult. I had to go into Google and convert it. It looks to be about a $75 knife, so it's right in that price range, give or take. Who knows what the rate's going to be to exchange that in 6 months, so it's something you're definitely going to have to research on your own. The blade is a 4.5 inch, give or take. I didn't measure it exactly. 4.5 inch. It's a high carbon stainless 9CR18 MOV steel, which is a full tang with an overmolded. It looks like a TPE handle, I believe is how they described it. Once again, that could be a translation issue. It's very simple, rugged design. No major extras or anything like that. Just a simple, elegant bushcraft knife. Now, we'll start with the handle and tang and move our way up. It's a full tang. As you can see, the tang protrudes. You can see its full thickness, 5.1 millimeters is the thickness of the blade, which tapers down pretty evenly towards the edge. The overmolded handle is very comfortable in the hand. It has very good texturing. That texturing is, I don't know if you can hear it, but that texturing is really nice. It doesn't lend any, I didn't get any hot spots or anything like that from this, but it does fit very well in my hand. The finger guard is very appropriately sized, not too big, not too small, and you have enough room for where you're not covering up the lanyard hole down there. That little bit of protrusion too, so if you do got to whack someone on the beak, you got that as well. The grind, this is a kind of full flat grind convexed edge, so there is no secondary bevel whatsoever on this. And like I said, it goes from full thickness and it very gradually thins down to the edge, so it should have a pretty strong tip. I didn't do anything too crazy. You can see I did a little stabbing with the tip there. You can see where it's a little scuffed up, but nothing too major. I typically don't pry with knives, so I just wanted to make sure that edge wasn't gonna roll over, and that was enough of that. I did some batoning with this as well, and it did decent. You know, it's not the best. You know, a convexed edge is not the best for batoning, but it did admirably. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of knives I have that have done way worse. So not putting it down, just, you know, when you have a good Scandi grind, you know, that kind of flat grind that almost is like a chisel, they tend to do really good batoning, and this just kind of did good, but not fantastic. So let's put it that way and move on. Carving, it does pretty well with carving. I think, you know, I went out and used a couple different woods, and you'll see in the video as I roll it in. So performance-wise, on par with other knives, you know, that kind of like that equivalent 440C area. So that did very well. So let's talk about that steel now. It is the 9CR18 MOV, the equivalent of like a 440C or an AUS 8. It's kind of like a high carbon stainless. It held an edge very well, like very on par with what you would see from 440 or AUS 8. No, it's not the best steel on the market, but for a stainless, these are one of the better stainlesses that you're not going to have to pay a fortune for. Once you start going up into VG10 and S30, it does get a little bit pricey. And I would love to see, I'm telling you, I would love to see a version of this in VG10. That would be awesome if they could do it and keep the price reasonable. That would be a very nice competitive knife to like Fallkniven and all of them. It's a very heavy knife, guys. Right out of the box, I'm really kind of surprised at how heavy it is. So you can do some really kind of like if you had to chop with this, you could do a little really light chopping. A lot of the weight's in the handle and not in the blade, so it is you're not going to get much of anywhere. But if you did have to, you could do some super light chopping. But it's a very heavy blade for its size. Definitely got some weight to it with that big 5mm thickness there. So the blade steel, decent. You know, it's not going to compare to it's not going to compare to 1095. It's not going to compare to O2, D2, any of those awesome tool steels or the high carbon steels as far as edge retention. But this is a knife, guys, and where I see the and obviously this came out of Sweden, where I see they probably have more of a use for this sort of thing, is this is an excellent cold weather bushcraft knife when you're out in the rain, the snow, things that might corrode a knife in short order. This is a knife that will be able to stand up to that and not have so much an issue. This is a knife I would have no problem taking on a winter camping trip, or, you know, if I know I'm going on a really rainy trip, this is something I might bring, whereas I can have that same very similar bushcraft performance but don't have to worry about constantly oiling it and keeping it dry if I am in a really wet environment. Now you're going to see from the video showing up, this thing held a pretty decent edge for what I did. I went out, you know, batoned with it and brought it in here, did some carving, and after all that, it was still able to take hair off my arm. It dulled a little bit, but not much for what I put it through. It you know, it definitely kept up with the big boys. So the quality wise, I think is very good. The convexed edge, you know, it's another one. This is I don't like convexes, to be honest. They're my least favorite knife edge because once they get really dull, they can be really difficult to sharpen, and I suck at sharpening convex edges. So of course what I'm going to do with this guy is just use my leather strops and strop it, you know, every time I use it or every other time I use it, and just keep that well maintained. That way I don't have to worry about convexing. I suck at it. I'm terrible at it. So overall, guys, I think this is a very surprising little knife. I kind of like, I didn't have much to base it on, you know, because like I said, their website's very difficult to translate, so I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't know how it was going to be, and just performance wise, it did very well. I'm really impressed with the performance. It's you know, if you look at the other knives I have, you know, does it do as well as something with 1095 steel? No, 1095 has better edge retention. But if you take away that edge retention, but the form, the size, the blade shape, the profile, the quality, all that is there. It just, isn't the good high carbon steel. So if you are looking for a bushcraft knife in stainless, in a high carbon stainless, this may be a pretty good option for you. Plus, if you like supporting the little guys, you know, these small little manufacturers that are coming out, this Jaktkit, I don't know if they manufacture it themselves or if they have someone else manufacture it, but from what I see, it's pretty good quality. The blade took a, you can see it's a little scuffed up. You can see some scuffs, but it really didn't do anything, and the edge is still pretty much perfect. I don't see any chips or nicks in the edge after all that. So I'm pretty happy. And it went back, even just stropping it, you can see it went right back to mirror. It's reflecting that light excellent. With just a couple minutes of stropping, it went right back to good as new. So there you go, guys. This Jaktkit knife, decent little knife for the money. You know, it's definitely competitively priced along the lines of the Boker bushcraft knife and the oh, what's that CRKT one? CRKT has another stainless bushcraft knife, but with the other stainless bushcraft knives, this is very competitive price-wise and very simple, and I think you're getting a better sheath than pretty much any other knife on the market. So there you go, and here comes the footage of me take hair off, and it does it well, as you can see. So it is very sharp, straight out of the box. See, this thing is but as you can see, some pretty sharp. And that is going through like butter. I'm not even applying any effort. I'm just pulling the stick back. That is very, very smooth. Try just doing oh, bring this a little closer. So the table here is a little rickety for this. But yeah, let's get back to see a little knot right there. Get something knotted. Takes nice. Bites nice. Really nice feel. A little knot there. This buckthorn's tough with these little branches. It's like peeling a potato, guys. Okay, so you can definitely make some pretty fine feather sticks out of this. This is green, so it really doesn't count. Alright, let's move on to this stuff here. This stuff generally poses no problems whatsoever for knives. I've never had a knife had an issue with this material. So, you can hear the difference. Once again, just going through it like it's nothing. Because this is a convexed edge. So, very cool. Once again, this would be probably very simple to make some feather sticks. Get the angle right. Is nice. It's green, but that's the way the world works. Let's see. This stuff, I believe, is pretty. Number one, it's really dry, but it's also a pretty knotty little branch. So we'll see how it does with this. I'm sure it'll take the bark off. No problem, of course. Trying to use the blade all over. Not bad. It's not the best like carving knife I've ever used, you know, but this is not a designated carving knife. This is meant to do a little bit of everything, you know, but granted, carving knives are set up a little different than this. And you're not doing it on a rickety table. Another cool thing is the spine is 90-degree spine on this, so you can definitely work with that. Man, my wife is going to be mad about having to clean up this mess. But overall, not terrible. Like I said, it's not the best knife I've ever used, but far from the worst.